should we go? How about right here?
Good afternoon, judges.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hudson, look at their face.
There,
No.
not with everybody in
But if
here.
there's two judges, yes.
There will be at least 2 judges there.
And introduce yourself.
I am Ethan Bollinger, and this is Hudson Berg, and we are here to show you what we think is the greatest game we have ever made.
Nice. Good
Great
start.
start.
It is Market Mayhem. Go ahead.
You just barely agreed to this before it.
We have Market Mayhem.
You just barely agreed to this. Like right there.
Oh, yeah,
like
you're
5
right.
minutes.
This is why we rehearse.
That's
right.
Okay, we came up with Market Mayhem with business etiquette and the idea of kind of making it like BitLife, which is a life simulation, but it was too large of an idea, so we had to shrink it down, and we came up with the brainstorming of what Market Mayhem is now.
And he wouldn't be doing this. We would have a clicker.
Okay.
I'll bring my clicker.
How do we distribute the work to make it a little easier to complete the game? We split the work 50-50, so each of us were doing half of the designing and half of the coding. And then, because we're equal in both fields, we were able to get it done fairly quickly, actually. So, we used a couple different programs to make Market Mayhem. One of them is a Python block coding with Electromod, which, if you pull it up, you can see it here. And then we also used designing with Pascal, which is a pixel graphic design website where we were able to make animations and sprites. And then we edited our sounds and music on the SoundCloud. How does Market Mayhem tie in with the business etiquette idea? It shows the growth and progress of a business and the risks of being an entrepreneur, and also the respecting customers, coworkers, and yourself, so that way you can have a successful business.
Yeah, that's for later.
Oh.
That's it. Okay, now we're gonna start this up.
So Market Mayhem, you're a business owner and you're trying to make it through at least one day in the game, which is 10 minutes in real life. And
I think it's like 8 minutes. It's
something like that.
It's 9 to 5, and 1 minute is 1 second in real life.
And if your money goes into the negatives, you go bankrupt and you lose. But if you make it through the day, it's a success. Or you buy all the upgrades in the game, it's also a success.
And you got a little tutorial here. I'm not gonna bore you with. It's pretty long.
Can you tell me what it's doing though? Tutorial to tell you how to play the game?
Yeah,
It
does.
shows you game mechanics and how to play and what to do. And then after you finish the tutorial, it turns you loose and you hopefully make it through.
Will you, sorry, I guess we do.
Yeah. Okay.
So you buy some products so that way you can stock your shelves with your $100 funds is what you start with. So you buy your product so that way customers can come in. And the more customers you have, the more product they can buy and you can make some money, as you can see. And
I'll just go.
sorry. No,
With the money, you can go over here to the upgrade tab, and you can upgrade how many shelves you have, which increases the amount of customers that come to your store, and the amount of cashiers you have, which helps the customers check out more quickly. Then, yeah, I think that's it.
Well, we also have the questions that
Oh, yeah.
happen.
Any
So-
questions?
Right.
Turn it back to them.
Wait, one more thing. We were gonna show part of the code, which was
How the customers
the
work.
customer. The
So-
customer one is part of the longest in the entire game. So I just broke it down right here. Where the customer is first spawned, it chooses a costume from one of the 8 different costumes that it can have. and then it chooses where it wants to go and how many times to go to each of those. Then it asks, have I gone to all of them? If it has gone to all of them, then it'll check out and leave. And if it hasn't, it'll go to the nearest one that it hasn't gone to, and it'll ask if there's product. If there's product, then it will go and decrease the item value, and then ask the same question, are all the shelves gone to? And if not, then it'll just say there's nothing here and leave. And then questions.
That is
Okay, I would have that screen where you have the
customer breakdown.
the customer breakdown up while you're explaining the game.
Agreed.
That's probably.
And I
a good
think
idea.
that you need to explain a little more. You
Yes.
did a really good
Agreed.
job.
We don't know how to play the game.
Right.
I
So
don't-
you've got to walk us through why are they buying product, and is that something as a player I need to worry about, is making sure that I have product, and then what they're going to be wondering, where does the business etiquette stuff come into play?
Oh, wait.
Right,
Yeah,
you're doing upgrades, but you forgot to say why. Like, you need the upgrades so that you can have more people come in. If you have a bigger store, then people come in. Like, what is the purpose of it outside of just you have people coming in and you're upgrading? Why am I upgrading?
To make more money.
Right.
I was
But like, explain
Right.
it all. Yeah,
Explain that.
explain the whole thing.
Explain it. You're trying to get as much money as you can, so you've got to fill your shelves, and you're going to have customers coming in. So you need to make sure that you have products on the shelves. So your job as the player is to go in and make sure that you either have enough shelves, you can buy more shelves if you can earn enough money. And
Also, like, why do you want people to check out faster?
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? You have answers to these. I know you do.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Just
that's all
answer
in the
why.
tutorial.
There was one more game.
But you didn't
mechanic.
tell us that. I don't
Right.
know
It was
that.
in- yeah,
I was assuming that's.
I was
what
gonna do
all
it. I was
Right.
gonna do it in the real
Yeah.
thing. I just didn't want it to take too long.
So paraphrase in the beginning, when you're talking about the tutorial, saying that it's a long tutorial, let me paraphrase what it's telling you, and then walk us through.
Okay.
Yes,
All of
high
it.
level.
Because there was one game mechanic we forgot to mention, which is the star rating that customers can give. At the very end, there'll be like an exclamation point like this, and they'll ask you a question related to business etiquette, and you have to answer it correctly, and your star rating will increase. More customers come, you make more money, and you have a successful business.
That's an
But
important detail.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's-
there's lots, all the
That's
details.
huge. That's like everything right there. The other thing I was impressed when you first showed it to me, you said something to the effect of like every 5 minutes or whatever it is, every 60
10.
seconds,
Every 60 seconds.
you have to make payroll.
Yeah.
I was crazy impressed because in the real world, every single employer has to abide by, and it depends on the rule, the business that they are. Sometimes they can get away with paying once a month. Most businesses have to pay twice a month, and it's not like, oh, we're gonna pay you roughly around this time and then again roughly. It's like set,
Exactly.
like on the 5th and the 20th of every month, you're gonna get paid. Because of that, we designed our game to have to account for that payroll that's coming. So I can't upgrade my store with more shelves if I know I've got a payroll cost coming up. So I have to abide my expenses versus costs.
I didn't even know about
You
that.
guys,
Oh.
That's
I think
huge.
that-
I
You
think
explained
that-
that
yeah.
to me.
along his lines, I would go through and be like, what are all the major business principles that you guys are hitting
Yes.
upon? And then make sure that you
Yeah.
emphasize every single one of those.
Yeah,
Yes.
let us know.
Because that's the biggest
Teach us
part,
how to
right?
play
That
the
is the
game.
whole point.
Yeah.
I started to get really impressed when you showed your I'm gonna call it the line drawing,
Oh,
the customer progression.
Yeah.
This?
Right.
And as you were explaining that, I all of a sudden started, and one of the notes that I put here is you said, well, we actually did it pretty quickly. Don't say that.
Right.
Don't say that. The last thing they want to know is that you
You didn't
threw
think you-
this thing together.
Yeah.
So you
Right.
did not do this pretty quickly, even if
You've been working on it all year.
You're still
have
working.
You
been
literally have
working
been.
on it.
He
And
was.
as soon as you showed that
coding
line drawing,
yesterday.
I was like, wow, okay, they had this thought process
Right.
of yes or no, then it goes here, yes or no, then it goes here, and you have this cool kind of AI, if you will,
It's a web.
of it asking itself, what's my next step? And it shows the skills that you guys brought into
Yeah.
your programming side and your business etiquette and knowing business side.
As a
Explain.
judge, that, when you started explaining that, I was like, oh, that's why I was saying, have this screen up at the same time that you're explaining it, so that as the little dudes are moving around, you're explaining how they're moving.
And what they're doing.
Because that blew my mind. I was like, oh, that's way cool. I was starting to geek out on this. And just like Mr. Bollinger was saying, that this is, that's something that really shows your intellect of how you guys did this thought process. That's what the judges want to see.
I'm gonna, and I wanted to give this tip to Clayton, and I didn't see Kiplin's though either.
No, Kipling.
Clayton and Kiplin are together.
It was
Kipling,
then
Clayton,
who
and
was
Sam.
Brolin and Liam.
Roland. Okay, sorry, I was confusing names. A good general rule of
Clayton,
thumb
listen.
in any presentation or in an essay is tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you've told them.
Yeah.
So you would say in layman's terms, we're gonna tell you about our video game that we've designed. It's a store. Here's what the store does and how it works. So as you can see, our store and our programming allows us to do this.
And
Tell
this
them-
is what it's going to touch up on. You had mentioned it earlier about, maybe it was Rationale that said the principles of business etiquette that you're touching on.
Yeah.
That's going to be a key at the beginning. When you're explaining what the game is and stuff, when you're telling them. Then when you get into mechanics of the game and talking about it, that's where the judges are going to geek out.
Yeah, they will. I love his idea of
Yeah.
showing the game, and that I need
Together.
to know the name. I keep calling it the line drawing. I know
Market
this one.
Mayhem.
Well,
No.
but that
Your
specific slide.
breakdown,
Web.
your customer
Just like
breakdown.
Yeah,
It's a customer
it's
web.
it
Flow
is.
chart.
Flowchart, yeah.
Yeah, it's really impressive that way.
But I mean, problem is they have lots of these, and that's why I said go to those. Like you said, tell them what it is, and then make sure you hit those business principles, like they both said. Like very simple, hit those things. And then also, what was the breakdown because of like splitting up? You only talked for like 5 seconds.
It was very weighted. on
Yeah,
each
so
side.
you need to figure that out. And then also, we need to get together. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You guys need to get together and do
I don't
this.
have anything else today besides
It's like, well, since you brought that up.
I would also say, I felt like you guys are hurrying to explain this stuff.
Don't rush.
And don't rush.
In 7 minutes.